We're here today to talk about the importance of job creation in our economy. We all know we need to create jobs, and the way to create jobs is to help small businesses. Too much of the focus over the last couple years has been on helping the large companies, the large banks. We need to focus on small companies in order to create new job opportunities for Americans. I want to compliment Senator Shaheen on her comments. She's absolutely right. Small businesses can create many jobs here in the United States by creating products that are wanted around the globe. The problem is it's very complicated for a small business owner to have the type of staff to deal with the difficulties of entering the international marketplace. And Senator Shaheen pointed out very clearly that the legislation that Senator Landrieu has been instrumental in bringing forward in the Small Business Committee that deals with enhancing international trade for small companies, S-2862, will provide more jobs in America by helping smaller companies be able to get their products into the international marketplace. That makes common sense. As I said in the beginning, Mr. President, we need to create more jobs. Senator Landrieu, in her leadership on the Small Business Committee, has made that our top priority, and I congratulate her for bringing this to our attention. We know that over 50% of the private sector jobs are with small companies. We know that 64% of the net new jobs during the past 15 years have come from small companies. That's where the job growth will be. We're talking about creating jobs, but we create more jobs through small companies, but we got to help them because they have many obstacles today to be able to create those new jobs. 40% of high-tech workers work for small companies. This is a very interesting statistic. There are 13 times more patents per employee in small companies than in larger companies. Innovation comes from our smaller companies. Doesn't mean we ignore larger companies. They have opportunities that small companies don't, but if we're going to create the jobs and innovation, we have to have a healthy atmosphere for small businesses today, and we need to do a better job. Now, what is the problem? Well, problem number one is credit. Small companies can't get traditional credit. Many large banks have just closed out giving loans to small companies. I could tell you of the calls that I've gotten to my office, the letters I've gotten. There's a high-tech company located in Hunt Valley, Maryland, small business, cannot get a bank to make a refinancing loan so that high-tech company can expand. They're doing very well. Their customer base would be very familiar to many of the members of the Senate, but they can't get a bank to be their partner in this environment because they're a small company. As a result, many small companies, many small businesses resort to the use of their personal credit cards. Their personal credit cards in order to finance their business. 1/3 of small companies have over 25% of their overall debt from credit cards. 50% of small businesses' interest rates are 15% or higher. That's not sustainable, Mr. President. You can't run a business based upon that type of financing. We've got to do much better in that regard. And that's why I was particularly pleased by S-2869 that our Chairman Landrieu has brought forward with Senator Snowe that would strengthen the SBA's capacity to make credit available to small businesses. It would increase the 7A loan program, and 7A loans are the traditional loans that small businesses get in order to finance their operations, would increase it from $2 million to $5 million, and continue the 90% federal guarantee. The 504 loans, which are used primarily for bricks and mortar, increase that from $1.5 million to $5.5 million. And the microloans, which give a business the opportunity for working capital so that they can move forward with an innovation and an idea and create jobs, increasing that from $35,000 to $50,000. Now, that tells you how important that is to a small business. That extra $15,000 can be the difference between developing an idea to create jobs or not. And I congratulate Chairman Landrieu for bringing forward that legislation. It passed our committee by a 17-1 vote. This is a strong bipartisan bill that we hope will be made permanent. I might say I think we need to do more. I've introduced legislation that follows in the direction of the President. President Obama has suggested that we take some of the TARP funds and we use that to help community banks make loans to small businesses. Well, I think we should look at having direct loans by the SBA to small businesses. Certainly as a backup if the private sector is not going to show enough interest to help our small businesses. I know there are other suggestions to help our states. Governor O'Malley has suggested that he has a program, could use some additional federal support, and can get money out to small businesses for credit quickly. We need to focus on that because there is a credit crisis for small businesses. We need to be able to do better than we're doing today if we're going to be able to create jobs. In every state in the nation, I know my colleagues have heard from their small business owners that they can't get affordable credit. We need to act in order to bring us out of this current economic downturn. There are other bills I just want to mention briefly, as I might. Chairman Landrieu mentioned the bill that I've been involved with, S-2989, the Small Business Contracting Improvement Act. You know, small businesses depend upon government procurement as an effort to get started and to grow. The problem is that there's this cozy relationship between procurement officers and larger companies. So they've developed into practices that have hurt small companies in being able to get the set-asides that we in Congress said that they should do. So what the contractor for the government agency does is they bundle a lot of contracts that should be offered individually, but they bundle them to make them too large for small businesses to be able to bid on. Well, this legislation deals with the abuses of bundling, and I congratulate our chair for bringing that forward. It also deals with the abuses between subcontractors and prime contractors. There's no surprise to anyone here that small businesses are more likely to be subs. Well, if we don't have transparency and openness and timely payments to the subs, the prime contractor is really abusing the privileges here, and we have a responsibility to make sure that the law is carried out with the set-asides to small businesses in our procurement policies. And this legislation, which passed our committee by a unanimous vote, earlier this month, I think will go a long way to helping small businesses and help, again, create jobs in our community. There's other legislation that's out there to strengthen the SBA counseling program that Chairman Landrieu mentioned. I think that's an important bill, passed our committee by an 18-0 vote. Again, strong bipartisan support. And another program I just want to mention quickly, because during the Recovery Act, there should have been funds set aside by NIH for the SBIR program. It was not. We've spoken about that before on the floor of this body. The legislation that passed our committee by an 18-0 vote would increase the allocations on the SBIR and STTR programs, which are high-tech set-asides for small high-tech companies, which really help us develop innovation and technology here in America, keeping jobs in America and expanding jobs in America, would increase that set-aside from a modest 2.5% to a 3.5%. Passed our committee by an 18-0 vote. These are all important bills that I hope we're going to have an opportunity to take up shortly as we look at the next jobs bill. I hope that these provisions can be incorporated into legislation we considered. This is bipartisan. I think all my colleagues understand that we've got to create more job opportunities in America. The way to do it is to help small businesses deal with their current needs. I will mention one other bill before yielding the floor, and that is the health care bill, which will help small businesses. The problem I used to hear the most from my small businesses were on paying health care costs. Now I hear credit. Credit's their number one problem. But we provide a credit, and Senator Landrieu was helpful in getting this started earlier, finding a credit to our small businesses so that they can afford to provide health care for their employees. Thank you, Senator Landrieu, for that provision. That's going to help small companies and help job growth. We also make the exchanges. These are the exchanges where a small company can go in and buy health policies. Today, I can't tell you how many times I've heard from a small business owner saying, you know, I'm getting ripped off. I have no choice in what insurance plan I can take. I got a 30% increase in premiums, a 40% increase in premiums. And my health, my employees didn't deteriorate. Our costs didn't go up by that. But I have no choice. There's no other company that I can get a policy with. Well, under the health reform, we provide options and choice and competition for the small business owner. Today, they're paying on average 20% more than large companies pay for comparable insurance coverage for employees. Well, that practice needs to end. We shouldn't be discriminating against small businesses in America, and we take major steps forward to eliminate that discrimination. These are all things we can do to create jobs here in America, to help our small businesses, help our nation, help our recovery, and help us grow as a nation to be even more competitive, offering good jobs to the people in our community who are seeking employment.